Hey everyone, I'm Derek Black. I'm the head of customer success at revVana. Today we're going to go through the revVana Quick Start program, which is basically how you go from zero to a fully functioning revVana org in about 30 minutes, maybe. We'll see how long this takes. The actual hands-on keyboard work is maybe about that much, but I'm going to be going through some slides explaining what I'm doing. So this could be a very long, epic voyage of how to configure all this stuff in Salesforce. So what we're going to do is I'll give a high-level overview of what is revVana, what purpose it plays in an org, kind of how it works. I've already installed revVana into AppExchange org. So like if you want to do this and try it on your own, we're happy to work with you to get this up and running. We'll go through the revVana object model. So maybe we just kind of go over architecture at a high level of what actually is the package doing, what happens when you install it, what is our data model like, and then we'll do a full configuration of generating revVana forecasts off of opportunities with opportunity products. So revVana overview, we're the only forecasting product that forecasts actual revenue is the way to think of it. So in my day, I've worked on many Salesforce CPQ projects, literally hundreds of them, which gives you basically a configuration of the deal. We've gone and we've set up all the products, we set up all the pricing. We have a big idea of what we're going to sell to a customer. revVana takes a lot of the same ideas there, and we configure the revenue based off of a deal or based off of some other things that you're maybe doing in Salesforce. So if you want to forecast revenue off of a project or orders or any types of custom objects, we can build out revVana plans for anything that you're doing in Salesforce. And what this does is it's based off of day-to-day user activity in Salesforce. So as I am updating my opportunity, I'm updating my orders, my projects, my accounts, even if there's significant changes that may reflect potential and customer value or revenue coming out of that, we will automatically run in the background and generate a forecast for those day-to-day activities. So, like I just mentioned, it just kind of does bottoms up forecasting. So for every user that's using this has a license, you can generate forecasts like these revVana plans. This is what the screenshot is that give real-time access to the data. So instead of what people are often doing is exporting a whole bunch of top-level opportunity product, quote line data to some system and for RevOps to then go and massage and get the monthly revenue values out into Excel. This does everything directly inside of Salesforce, so there's no lag between user behavior, information about the customer into what is going into your revenue forecast. So we'll kind of get started on how this all works. I'm going to kind of skip through this because I've already done the revVana package installation, but revVana is a managed package and it can be accessed through Salesforce AppExchange. If you want to, you can, what I did for this today is I've spun up a Salesforce developer, free developer org that has absolutely nothing in it. And all I've done is installed revVana in it. So there's like no other configuration that's happened at all inside of this org besides what you're going to see today in the video. So we did that. We have revVana installed into my developer org. And, it'll give us this app launcher to go access revVana. I'll get into kind of what this all means by going through an overview of what the product is. So revVana, effectively, the way that we forecast is we have a data model that uses three sets of objects. So we have a plan record that has child plan line item records that have child plan line item schedule records. And what these do is they will sync to any potential master detail records inside of Salesforce. So opportunity, product, classic example of a master detail relationship. In Salesforce, those will sync to a plan and plan line items. We do, of course, offer more sophisticated ways to forecast where you do not need a master detail to get plan line items. We're not going to go into how that works today too much, but just know that this is one small example of how revVana forecasts can be generated. The key thing too is that we introduced this kind of third record here of the plan line item schedule. This is the monthly or weekly, daily, annual, quarterly revenue bucket, so to speak, that goes into a line item. So for a given product, we will have the monthly revenue for that. So if it's a services product, the revenue may be pretty variable month to month, week to week. If it's physical goods, it might just all kind of be all in the first period of a contract, or staggered quarterly or something like that. If it's a license, it might just take the total amount and spread it evenly across all the periods that you have here. So the way that we dictate how the revenue treatments are going to apply to a given product or a given source of revenue, it could even just be like a field on a record that we use to initialize this. We use something called scenarios. Scenarios are effectively like a template for a revVana plan. And then schedule types are effectively templates for the plan lines that then get different revenue treatments. A schedule type can be thought of as like a revenue treatment. So this is what it all kind of looks like, is that we start with an opportunity that has an amount, it has products on it. And revVana will transform that into not just having a flat amount and a close date, but to having the total amount spread across all the potential months of however this revenue could be expected to be delivered. So we'll start doing some configuration now. We'll go into the revVana configurator. So here we'll navigate to this and we'll go through these things: scenarios, schedule types, so on and so forth. I'm just going to go ahead and like cut over to an org here where I have this set up. So I'm just going to do it. So I see that I've installed revVana package. I'll go to the revVana admin page for the revVana configurator. And the revVana configurator loads. I have nothing set up yet. I literally have nothing in this org. It's giving me annoying Salesforce new feature pop-ups. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to create a new scenario. And I'm going to make opportunity forecasts. And we can pick what frequency we want. I'm going to stick with monthly. We can choose all types of forecast metrics. And again, this is what you get completely just out of the box when you fresh install revVana. You can add, this might not make sense at this moment in time, but you can add other forecast metrics that you want that we call measures. But here I'm just going to forecast the amount for everything. So that would be the currency amount. And we're going to use an automatic active schedule. I'll go ahead and save that. The schedule type revenue treatments that I mentioned in the slide deck, we have something that we call automatic schedule type that kind of goes through a bunch of different possibilities, and I'll set up a few of them really quickly in this org. But to kind of do it in whole, we'll just use the automatic schedule type and save this. We can change kind of the default number of periods that we want. We start with 12. I'm going to stick with 12. It's a great number. It's the number of months in a year. So we will save this. Criteria is used to determine when revVana will run. So when do I want to generate a revVana plan? So I'll call this the opportunity criteria. So here I'm going to add a rule. And a rule I normally use on criteria is has line items. And I'll pick opportunity, or I'll pick the field here. And I'll use the has line item checkbox. That's just part of Salesforce. And say this equals true. So what I did is I've set up criteria that's going to run the revVana automation anytime that an opportunity has line items. The next thing we get into are mapping fields. This is what translates a Salesforce object field into a revVana record field. So here we'll have the opportunity forecast mapping. Going to add field. So we'll go to the plan, and what we typically like to do is name the plan. So I'll give it a name. And normally what I'll do is I'll use a formula here. I'll go to this formula builder that we have, and I will say plan for and I'll insert the opportunity name. Use this formula and save it. The next thing that we'll need to do is map over amounts. So on the plan line item, I'm going to put something into the amount field, and I'll just choose a field from the opportunity line item. And I will use the total price. And then from there, can add some more fields. On the plan line item, we have two pick list fields that control the way that the values are allocated. So here I have plan unit measure frequency. And to do this really simple, I am just going to put in some static values for everything. So everything will just be even spread on this. So say total value. And then locate for Italy. So while I double check to make sure I spelled those names correctly for those fields, I'll dive in a little bit onto how this is set up and works. So on the plan line item, we have two pick list fields, as I mentioned. Those are what I just created mappings for. We have plan unit measure frequency and plan unit measure frequency spread. This frequency has different values that you can use that will impart different behaviors when certain things are seen. So where in the configurator here, I just made a straight, made everything total value. I could use a formula with if statements or case statements to use different values here that will impart different behaviors onto the forecast. So if I want all of the amount to go to the first period of the schedule or the plan, I can use this to do that. The last period, I can do that. If I need different recurring values, I can do that as well. Or if I just want to use the total value to be then spread or dropped in a specific way, I can do that. And that's what I've chosen to do here. The other field then will determine how to chop up or spread that value. And there's some options here where we have allocate proportionately, allocate first period, allocate last period. So it will take the value given in the first pick list. So in my case, total value is what I want to use to allocate proportionally. So it'll take that total value and it'll allocate it proportionally across the whole plan. I can also use allocate first period, last period here. And that will, give me some different behavior. So looking at this, I should have almost everything that I need for a plan to generate. I'm also going to map over the product. And I'll just do field mapping here. Actually bring the product from the opportunity line item and drop it in there. And we should be good. We should be able to see basically a revVana plan. I'm going to click submit. It takes all the input I put in the configurator and generates real records for it. So just a quick sip of a drink was all that takes. And then I'll go and configure all the automation for this. This is stitching together all of the pieces of the puzzle I made for this one scenario that we're building. So opportunity, forecast, automation. And I just picked the things that I already made, criteria. And we're not going to do write back. And the actions, I'm just going to choose the basic automation here. And this is all the setup, if I didn't miss anything, that I should need to generate revVana plans on opportunities. So right now, if I go and look, I don't have any plans at all in this org. There's nothing here. If I go to an opportunity, here, if I go and right now, of course, there's no products on it. If I add a product, that will change my criteria to be true to generate a revVana plan on it. So if I go ahead and I add this, and let's say I'm going to buy 12 of these. So now that this product has been added, I should have a new revVana plan. And there we go. So, this is very rough and quick, but, about the time of my lunch break, I can get this up and running for a really basic use case to forecast this revenue out over time. That again is revVana in a few minutes, basically starting from nothing to having something. I just wanted to go through how kind of quickly and easily we can get started on getting forecasts inside of Salesforce based on real-time activity. And thanks for tuning in and checking out how our software works.